did you build that network also with all platforms and managers and brands?
Be communicative, be responsive, be helpful, don't have an ego. Always be nice to all these guys because they might be your boss one day.
How would you describe the whole ecosystem of agents, talents, music people?
It's tough to get your foot in the door, but once you get your foot in the door, that's only half the battle. Gain the trust of those that are moving the needle, get their attention like, oh, I'm happy to help you with this for free or whatever, and then all of a sudden you prove value.
Ben, how did you get into talent management?
I started a lot of my family's in entertainment. So I grew up around it naturally, and I actually had a desire to study hospitality and tourism management in college before I knew I was going to become a talent manager. But a lot of the same management learnings are applicable to what we do. We're still dealing with people and managing a lot of moving pieces. But the long and short of it is my family's in entertainment, and I've always been over-inserting myself in their business because I care a lot.
Yeah.
And they actually said, like, you should actually think about pursuing your career in this. You seem to be passionate about it. So I started my career in the mailroom like many people do at William Morris Endeavor.
Okay.
Back in the day, and worked my way out of the mailroom onto a desk and really got my...
It's one of the biggest agencies, right? There's only this one and CAA kind of, right?
Yeah, WME, IMG.
Yep.
I was there for the acquisition. It was a very interesting time to see that, the WME acquire IMG, which was such a bigger company at the time, and to see how they integrated them. But yeah, it was a pretty awesome time, and that's where I started my career. And even though it's representation, I was on the agency side, where now I sit on the management side. So I have since transitioned away from the agency, and in between starting my own thing and WME, I was at a company called Fullscreen, where we were working with digital talent there as well.
Okay. Yeah. So you are kind of like an industry legend. When I got first introduced to you, like, oh, Ben, he's a guy, he knows everyone in LA, especially in Venice. You're very engaged in the community. We want to talk about this a little bit later. So there's so much going on for a person who has never been to Los Angeles yet. How would you describe the whole ecosystem, the whole atmosphere, and the whole industry landscape of agents, talents, music people, influencers, actors, all that together?
Well, it's definitely, first off, thank you. Legends a big one, but I would say, I've just been fortunate enough to be around a lot of awesome people and try to be good to them, and it comes back full circle. As far as navigating quote unquote Hollywood, it's different for each entry point, but the long and short of it is it's tough to get your foot in the door, but once you get your foot in the door, that's only half the battle. Then the real work begins. But for all those aspiring to break in, it's a grind, but you got to pay your dues. So many people are looking for shortcuts, and they think they're just going to come out to Hollywood and be a big star, or be a big representative, or be a big producer, and it doesn't work that way. You really got to take a step back to take a larger step forward, gain the trust of those that are moving the needle, and typically they don't need to work with you because they have their people already. So you usually have to do something to get their attention, like, oh, I'm happy to help you with this for free or whatever, and then all of a sudden you prove value, and they're like, oh, I actually want to work with this guy, and next thing you know, they start throwing you real budgets. And that's applicable for everything, whether it's finding deals for clients, whether it's winning business to produce, or but taking a supporting role that's in a small indie project to get in with a producer that might be working across more legitimate projects. And this is just in his free time and his passion project. So long story short, taking a step back to take a larger step forward, and being humble and putting in your dues.
That's a good that's a good part. So let's go back to that mailroom. When was that?
That was 2011.
So, and everything was back then still analog. Can you explain for the Gen Z what the mailroom is?
Yeah,
I just listened to a podcast with Michael Horvitz. And the founder of CAA.
Of
and
course.
I kind of a similar path. Like also started in the mailroom, worked himself up and all that. But what's the mailroom?
Yeah, so the mailroom is, and there's a great book that anybody that wants to break into Hollywood should read. It's called The Mailroom, just because it gives you a good understanding of what it's like behind the scenes, and you really start to understand. Even it's most applicable to people that want to be a representative and somebody that thinks they want to be an assistant to learn to be a representative. But I think it's almost just equally as empowering for those that are trying to navigate it. That said, oh my God, I got completely derailed. Bring me back to the initial question. Sorry.
What's the mailroom?
Oh yeah, the mailroom. Thank you. So the mailroom is literally just what you think it is. It's the room that receives all the mail, but it's very much, and you know, things have changed over the years, but it's still utilized. But it's very much where all the mail, all the contracts, all the scripts are getting sent around town.
Okay.
So think about it, when everything's coming in for the agents, it has to go down to the mailroom and then be sent out appropriately. So we might get something in for a client. You have to look up which client, like who represents that client, and make sure it gets to their agent's desk, so on and so forth. And then same thing with contracts. A lot of things are getting signed, or sensitive scripts that wouldn't be emailed out because there's the chances that it could get leaked, so they're only sending out hard copies. So all those things circulate through the mailroom, and historically it's where all the information's flowing through. So it's what you decide to absorb while there that's so beneficial. You could be in the mailroom and learn nothing, and you could be in the mailroom and learn a ton. It's really how much you decide to observe and absorb. And what I mean by that is, like, you know, you could be reading some of the biggest scripts in the world that are circulating before they get picked up, or you could just be running under somebody's desk and not have an understanding of who wrote it, who it's for, what actor it's going to, and really kind of understanding stuff before it came about. I was very fortunate to see a lot of stuff and be behind the scenes before seeing it come to light. And it's pretty cool if you actually pay attention to it. And not to mention the mailroom, you're literally delivering mail as well to all the agents and the assistants that are up on the main floor. And it's your opportunity to show face, start campaigning for your own career. And the ultimate goal when getting into the mailroom is to get out of the mailroom and onto a desk where you're then privy to more high-level information and really get to see how it's built.
But I like that the part you said, like being humble, being patient about that, and it's not we're not talking here about like I did the mailroom for 2 weeks or so, right?
No.
I have a feeling in the world that is changing and where everything is getting faster, people always want the short track, the shortcut. And I'm seeing myself sometimes in that situation as well, right? So when we hang out and have lunch, I always ask you like, hey, what can I do to grow my business and faster and this and that? And you always tell me like, it takes time, be patient and all that. And I get this, but I still have sometimes like a weird relationship when I see people who want to be like a millionaire by tomorrow. There's definitely a way, but the question is if it's a way that's lasting and that's like really good for long term. And if you go through kind of a little bit of a struggle, that builds character. Would you agree?
100%. Yeah, I mean, you learn the most by your losses, not your wins. So, you know, anytime you're taking it on the chin, those are going to be much more impactful to your overall journey, for sure. And then, you know, there isn't some people have some crazy path to success that's overnight, but for the majority of us, it is, you know, paying your dues, putting in the work, really understanding your craft, getting good at it, building those relationships, nurturing them, and just being hyper aware of both, like, you know, your clients' needs and your offerings, and asking yourself if they're fair, if they're competitive with the landscape, and also like be aware of what your competitors are doing, right? And analyze your approach. Does it make sense to potentially undercut them? And is it going to bring on too much business to the point where you're running around like a chicken with its head cut off? Or do you want to increase your rates with the clients that you have? Only you know your specifics, but I think you have to figure out which lane you like to be in, specific to like production for you, like the size of the budgets, the lift, how much you're producing for them. Is it a more short form commercial, or are you doing something more long form? So yeah, I think, figuring out your lane that you want to go after, where you enjoy working the most. The most important thing is passion. So where you're passionate about amongst all of that, and then double downing into it. Okay, what's the competitive landscape look like? So many people I see in so many sectors of business just keep their head down and don't look up to what's going on. Mm-hmm. And I mean that specifically, like when I think I have all these platforms hit me up and apps and stuff for our creators, and half of them are completely unaware that there's like 10 other people developing the same stuff. And those 10 other people aren't aware of any of the other individuals. So I say that because if they knew, they probably wouldn't be all developing in the same lane and creating a hyper competitive market for each other, with the chances of somebody finding success dwindling by each new person coming in. So just be aware of what your competitors are doing, do your research, understand where budgets are coming in at. And I'm thinking specifically for you, and then thinking about what you actually need. I also think a lot of traditional production is overdone. Like there's a lot of extra things that we might not need. Mm-hmm. So
what would that be?
I mean, I'm talking about like a lot of times you'll see people layer in unnecessary things that are just traditional across every shoot. Like we have to have a gaffer here and extra lighting there and this and that, when the lighting might be just fine because you're shooting during the middle of the day and it's not necessary, or you don't actually need X, Y, and Z. So I think just keeping it leaner, because the reality is we have so many content creators that we represent that are able to give production companies a run for their money with similar content deliverables with way less robust crews, right? So it's
they come with organic reach, right?
Yeah. But even taking the reach aside, just thinking of it from my perspective of, I think we just don't need as much as we traditionally have thought we needed. Mm-hmm. And that allows for you to cut down a lot of the budgets ideally. So, I leave it to you. It's your craft, but that's my thought. I think, just being highly competitive with rates, professionalism, turnaround time, all the basics is what's going to make you win.
I agree on that. And so I also have a thought, or like a picture. Mm-hmm. I believe in most big US corporates or in government or so, like right now you see there's a haircut every now and then. And I think a haircut in a company makes sense because there's always more and more and more. Same in government, right? And I don't want to get into politics here, but if you add, let's say government runs, whatever it is, it always adds more laws, right? And more bureaucracy and more this and more that and more that. And at some point you just need somebody who defragments all that and like makes it a little bit easier. Mm-hmm. And I think this might be the same thing for Hollywood style productions. Throughout the years in the, let's say, 70s, 80s, 90s, there was added so much more, right? Okay, maybe we need a person for this. Oh, now we need a VFX department. Now we did this. Now we did 2D, 3D, 4D, 5D, whatever. I don't know, like you need so many more people. And at some point it gets so expensive, right? Then you have unions and even
So
all
what
that.
you're saying is we need Doge to come clean up Hollywood.
I don't know, maybe that might be an option. I mean, I think that it happens by in the free market. It happens by itself just because there's competition and there's always young guns. And at some point, we were the young guns. When we competed with big agencies, and in some areas we still are the people who are challenging this and getting in with more efficient and crazy ideas in. But there's always that one kid, that 18-year-old kid who will shoot the next amazing movie on their iPhone, right? And I think that's what a lot of stuff will be about, and that's a big disadvantage in our industry. So you always have to be on the grind. You always have to be on the pulse of time, what's going on. But the other thing is you won't get lazy.
Yeah.
It helps you stay young. I love being around with like these young kids who have great ideas, who bring in amazing new techniques and stuff. We just had a production last year. I was with a content creator. His name is Lawrence, and Life of Lawrence on YouTube, and he shoots everything by himself, right? And it looks like a movie. And he shoots it on iPhone and just with a magic arm climbed here, climbed there, interesting perspectives and all that. But the production value is so high. We brought him into a big brand production and it was amazing, right? I learned so much, and but it also challenged me where I thought like, oh shit, I gotta keep up with what I'm doing. And yeah, there's definitely pros and cons to all of that, right?
It's like sometimes you don't need to strap a red on top of a Jeep to get the shot, right? Yeah. Sometimes you might be able to just take that iPhone and have that single arm mount and wrap it around the bar, and it's equally comparable.
And don't saying one or the other is not necessary.
Of course,
there's things, there's time and place for everything, right? If you do a Super Bowl commercial, probably the red is the right choice.
It just makes you aware of what's possible.
Oh yeah. Definitely. Let's talk a little bit about your agency, 28th Ave. You guys are based in Venice. Give me a picture of what the company looks like, what you guys do. What's the daily business?
Yeah, so 28th Ave Management is a talent management company that works with content creators. We have a wide range of clientele ranging from, traditional content creators, influencers, artists, athletes, experts, whether it's chefs, doctors, you name it. And our job is simply to help them navigate their business in a 360 capacity. So that ranges from, it's a wide range of different entry points, pretty much anything that is forward facing for them. But that can, range from a big part of it being brand deals, which we do a ton of. And then there's a ton of other entry points like podcasts, like the one we're on today, manage and sell against and help navigate a bunch of those, books, film, television, touring, consumer products, investments, you name it, because we're seeing lots of stuff, sweat equity opportunities as opposed to, capital contributions.
Can you explain what sweat equity is?
Yeah. So, where the client might do some posts as opposed to paying for, making an investment with cash, the investment
in a startup company or so, right?
Yeah, will be their posts or their work forward facing, or if they're doing a meetup or activation, whatever it may be. So there's so many different entry points to how we help them navigate it. But ultimately, our job is to help them make smart and strategic business decisions that help their career advance and their income increase.
Okay. Yeah. And the business model is basically you have them under contract, sometimes exclusively, sometimes non-exclusive, sometimes they're just like you bring them opportunities.
Yeah, so we work with our clients exclusively.
Okay, nice.
There's, I'd say there's some people I've brought in deals to in a non-exclusive basis in the past here and there, but primarily our focus is on our core clients, which are exclusive clients. Some of our clients do have other members of their team. So we're always the management side. Sometimes there's an agent involved for specific clients. Sometimes there's attorneys involved, business managers, publicists. It all ranges on a case-by-case basis.
And I mean, you have a lot of like A-listers here, right? Or like a lot of great people. I know you don't want to talk about too many names, but just to give you guys listening a little bit of insight on that, like it's big actors, big artists, basically your favorite influencer. You have them under contract, right?
Yes, yeah. So what we're doing is we're working with a lot of the top content creators out there, influencers, and they have crossover, but I would say the core competency is if people have a large following, we help them navigate that. And because of that, we are fortunate enough to be interfacing with the largest brands in the world, leagues, platforms, you name it, and we help connect the dots and find fair deals that keep everybody happy and motivated and, achieve the needs of the brand while working within the guidelines of the creator and staying true to their content and how they speak to their audience.
And usually you take a commission of like 20%?
It ranges on case by case, but yeah, that's a very standard, yeah.
Okay. You talked about brand deals and that creators stay true to themselves. How do you make this happen? I mean, we have this so often. Big brand, I don't know, let's say Coke, they come to one of your creators and they're like, hey, we want to promote the new Diet Coke, whatever, Diet Coke Cherry. Can you include that in your content? And they have a very specific brief often, right? How do you make it happen that both are happy?
Well, the reality is sometimes the client's going to get what they want, but it's our job in both scenarios to suggest what we think is going to work best. We're never going to force our way on anybody, and that goes for both the talent or the brands. We can make helpful suggestions, and sometimes those aren't taken into account just because people want what they want, and especially if they're the ones spending. But other times, how it comes about is we go, listen, that's great. We can achieve very similar messaging, but this isn't true to the way they would speak or present this product. Would you be open to this? And it's just a conversation and proposing. People just don't want to hear, I'm not going to do that. They want to hear, okay, well, what are you willing to do? So let's get that in front of them, see if they approve it, and just over communicate. It's really basic stuff, but just, for us, it's just proposing what would work potentially and making sure they sign off on it. And then once they do, it's done. But it's basic, but it's funny because so many times clients will be like, I'm not saying that. I don't want to do that. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like we can still make this work. What would you want to say? I'm like, all right, let me bring it back to them and see if it's okay with them. Very simple, but it usually creates a happy solution for all parties. They're like, the brand's typically like, oh yeah, that's fine. That's, very similar. And the client's like, feels the weight lifted off their shoulders because they felt that it was disingenuous to how they typically would speak.
So you really need a very good sense of tonality, of language, of understanding what the brand truly needs, but also your creator and how they are, right? But I mean, creators, they are artists.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And you have to speak artists to work with them.
Yeah, you just, I think the job requires a high sense of emotional intelligence, just really being able to read in between the lines if something's making your client not comfortable and they're not articulating it as clearly as you would hope they would, and same with the brand. So being able to see those moments in real time and then get in front of them by suggesting solutions and, just getting a temperature read and maybe dialing it back or saying, okay, well, what about this instead? And then kind of navigating based off of their response.
When it comes to talent fees or paid posts, like Reels, Instagram stories, all that, do you think there is an inflation at some point, as there will be? So let's say fast forward from now, 5 years from now, there will be more creators. There will be more people on TikTok. Maybe another platform pops up, and at some point now, let's say we have 1 million people with 10 million followers or so, or like, I don't know. Let's just say a number, right? There's 10,000 people with 1 million followers. In 5 years, there's probably 100,000 or 500,000 with 10 million followers. Do you think, and I know you're probably a little bit biased because that's your business model, do you think there will be an inflation of price that will go down a little bit? Or will there be...
I do. I think, like we've seen it over the years. There's more, the competition's wider, right? So when there was less people to compete with, you could command higher rates. Now somebody's willing to undercut you, and what used to be 100 people that are willing to undercut you now are thousands, right? So you have to take that into account. At the same time, and I think that speaks to like the general masses, that, and I say that in the sense of like a mid-tier creator that doesn't have some, that kind of gets bucketed into a category that there's like 20, 30, 40 options just like them, right? But when you start to get to these creators that really find a way to find an individual path that's unique to them, and they're successful and they have high engagement, cream always rises to the top. They're still going to be the ones that command the high rates, because sometimes the brand just wants who they want, and it's hyper specific to this one creator, and it's hard to find. And, it's supply and demand at the end of the day. So I think for the creators that don't have as much deal flow, they're going to be affected by those rates dropping. But for the ones that are still most sought after creators, they're going to be able to keep their more premium rates. And that's true to business overall and just supply and demand, theory.
Totally makes sense. What do you think in terms of building the community and maybe also transferring that to another network? So when we talk about, let's say, following currency, the most valuable followers are probably on YouTube. Then comes Instagram, and TikTok is whatever, right? It's a great platform, but followers are not that count. It's more like interactions and all that stuff. And probably if you would put something on top of YouTube, that would be your own community in another network, like email newsletter or another subscription model app or so. What do you advise your talents who are, let's say, big on Instagram? Do you tell them like, hey, you should move over to another network, extend this, expand this?
Yeah,
what do you tell them?
Ultimately, we advise all of our clients what we think they should do. Its bandwidth is tough, for people. I think, adding that much of a lift can be challenging. But my dream for all the creators that we work with is that they have one long form entry point, because I think you can find a lot of success across social media, across all these platforms. You could be big on TikTok and be a superstar and all this stuff, but to the real, the people that are moving the needle at the largest level in the creator economy are tapping into long form in one of three entry points, in my opinion. It's either long form video like YouTube, streaming, or podcasting. And it's ultimately, when we're looking at short form, you're only giving a short version of yourself. So how good is the connection with your audience comparatively to somebody that is really investing this time with them, with their audience, and making them feel a relationship and a connection on a deeper level? And with that, you get a ripple effect that is hard to compare, whether you're looking at a Joe Rogan for podcasting, or like a Ninja for streaming, or Emma Chamberlain for YouTube, or whatever it may be. These are the type of individuals that are really able to move the needle because of long form. That said, going back to your initial question, my wish for all my clients is to do YouTube. I think it's a really, really strong platform that then can be cut up and repurposed across every other platform. I always think that they should be taking on as many platforms as possible. I think they should treat it like a job, no differently than Monday through Friday. They should be trying to post every day, or at least 5 days a week. But ultimately, mental health comes first and foremost, and bandwidth. And some people, it's a personal decision. Not everybody wants to work that hard, and they're happy with what they're doing, and it works, and it's making them income, and that's what they're going to do. But we give our 2 cents and advise and take it from there. But those that want to listen and apply what we think will work well for them, see the results. And actually so part of my job now is, I get to manage managers now, right? Because I'm the CEO. So in addition to managing talent, which I do, I get to work through a lot of my managers across all their stuff that they're navigating, and help them, as issues come up or roadblocks come up, or if they're like, hey, what should I do here? Or do you have any contacts to set up meetings for selling this or that? I jump in and help navigate. But one of my managers hit me up the other day and was like, wanted to show me something he was proud of that I'm now proud of as well. And that was the stats of one of the clients he signed. And shortly after they signed with us, they listened to what we said, and we helped them navigate a bunch of stuff. And they saw a direct spike in their earnings, their watch time, their analytics across YouTube. And here we go. This is directly correlates with their sign with us.
Oh, wow. That's wild. Okay, so we see a graph here starting 2017, pretty low. And they probably signed with you late 2023. And since then, the channel grew from 100,000 followers to almost 1 million in a little bit over a year.
Yeah.
That's wild. Okay. Yeah. Which channel is that?
That's Chris and Jack.
Okay.
On YouTube, yeah. So
what did they do? Did they change?
They just started doing more long form content more consistently, and we got them set up with YouTube directly to answer and navigate and optimize their channel, the back end, and made sure we were working with YouTube directly to just improve upon their strategy, do deep dives across their audience, kind of audit it, and better understand what's moving the needle for them, empower their clients with that information, and then ultimately, the ones that are great to talk about and mention are the ones that actually apply the advice we give, right? It's like your doctor can tell you what to do, but if you're not implementing it, you're not going to see change. And this is exactly that. Your doctor can't work out for you, right?
Yeah.
Only you can do the work. But it's nice when we have clients that implement our suggestions and we see the results. It makes us know we're not crazy.
How did you build that network also with all platforms and managers and brands? I mean, you are pretty low-key all the time, but you're a high roller. You know everyone.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's just... I've been doing it for over a decade. The digital space is pretty young, so got into it when it was a small pond, and now we're in the middle of the ocean. But I feel the original, like a lot of the key original players are still very much there. We all know each other very well. And, for me, it's also just the basics. I keep saying just the basics. It's like, be communicative, be responsive, be helpful, don't have an ego, help the next generation or people that are just coming up, because a lot of the times they might be the people that are giving you a job one day. You know what I mean? Like one of my bosses when I was an assistant at WME was telling me, always be nice to all these guys because they might be your boss one day. And it's so true. For me, it's just being a good person, honestly. It's just helping out people, giving people a chance. And I'm curious, too. I love learning. It's like, one, I do it because I want to be nice and kind to people. And two, I'm just fascinated by life and what everyone's doing. So that gives me the opportunity to keep meeting people because people see these genuine entry points. And, you might do something with no intentions of getting anything from it. And they're like, actually, my cousin's a massive influencer and wants to talk to you now. And you're like, oh, I was just helping you because you were lost, but okay, yeah, that's rad. So I think just keep swimming, just keep showing up, being a good person, putting yourself out there, first in, last out, and people recognize it. People want to be around people that are working hard and are inspiring them. And then it just has a ripple effect of people, introducing you, meeting people, and then just having fun. Like a lot of times I'll meet amazing people and not know they're somebody incredible. And I just had a very sincere conversation with them, not because I'm looking to get something out of them or know what they do, just because I'm fascinated by life and who they are and very observant. And I ask questions about people that are specific to them, like, oh, I like that watch. Where'd you get it? Blah, 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 whatever it may be. And I think people recognize sincerity a mile away. And yeah, I try to be sincere with everything I do. And, passion. Like it goes back to what I was saying before. I lean into things I'm passionate about. If I'm passionate about learning and meeting new people, it's going to come through, as opposed to just going through the motions to just build a network. I'm just doing it because I love life, and it results in a network.
Yeah. That really resonated with me, especially the genuity. When we had our first meeting, that was at Erewhon in Venice.
Yeah, I love Erewhon.
And we go all the time there, right?
Yeah.
It's like
guilty.
You're the OG Erewhon ambassador, kind of like. So we had lunch there, and we were sitting outside in the sun. Got some stuff. Got our Hailey Bieber smoothie, and
that's right.
You knew everyone there, like every person coming in and out. They're like, "Hey, how you doing? What's up? Yeah, how's your wife? How's your dog? How's everyone doing?" So we were barely chatting because you introduced me to so many people, and I think that was really, really cool. That this shows this genuity and sincerity. That it's like, "Hey, I'm really honest. I'm not just here to do business."
Yeah.
And I think that is a thing that really differentiates you from a lot of other people. Including myself sometimes. I mean, I love doing business. I love to talk business. I can talk business 24/7, right? Like even if I'm on vacation, I have this idea, I have that idea, like that. I'm just thinking and stuff like that. But I really admire that, and I try to implement this more, like being like I'm more interested and just talking to people and care about them.
Yeah, I mean, it's like. I was thinking about this the other day. I work to live, not live to work. And I do love my job, and I do stuff that I'm good at and I can add value at. But ultimately, like I love, I love playing, right? Like for me, that's skiing or snowboarding specifically, or surfing, or going to the beach with friends, eating with friends and family, cooking, all that stuff. Like that's so enjoyable for me, but we have to be able to, fuel this fire of life, right? So we do something we enjoy doing and we work at and whatnot, but I truly try to intersect my passions in life, because it's a marathon, not a sprint. So if you're just tunnel vision on one or the other, you're going to neglect one side, right? So it's just trying to find some harmony between it. And, it'd be like also just like growing or raising food to eat and never actually eating it yourself, right? Like you want to enjoy the fruits of your labor as well. And for me, it's just meeting people, enjoying life, getting out there, and then it naturally just intersects, right? So, and all those entry points of meeting people are truly genuine, but it opens so many doors for me that I have no intentions that they will for business often, and it's just getting to learn and meet people on a deeper level. Yeah.
That's cool. We just restarted the podcast after a little break.
Welcome back.
We had No, I mean in general. But yeah, yeah, we're back.
Yeah. Commercial break. Ad reads.
So and I brought in some new ideas, and thanks for all of you guys listening on here, especially for the ones on YouTube. We have videos since a couple of episodes, so please check it out and comment if you like it. You can see our beautiful faces and the nice hat of Ben. Shout out to Like-Minded, right?
Yeah, Like-Minded is my friend's new sauna and cold plunge location in Venice. It's a really, really cool spot. My other friend's an investor in the company as well. James, who you got to meet.
Yeah, James,
Magic Mind.
Ryan, Dave. Dave was also on the podcast here.
I love that.
The founder of Bluey's.
Yes.
Bluey's. I blanked for a second.
His hands are in so many things.
Yeah.
He's a serial entrepreneur and very impressive, and brings a lot of amazing facilities to Venice and the surrounding area. I mean, Like-Minded's
That's
his,
good.
Waterfront's his, bunch of other things. But he's an impressive dude.
I have a couple of more broader questions. We talked a lot about.
Let it rip.
We talked a lot about the industry itself, but now I want to go a little bit more into like business in general and like brands.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of brands, and I always love to hear what kind of brands others love. And so my question for you is, what's your favorite brand and why?
That's tough. It's like asking to choose a child. I don't. It's hard, but I can say some favorites that I have. I don't know my absolute favorite. That's like a big question for me, especially because we both work in the space so much. But two that stand out to me right away are Patagonia and Yeti. I absolutely love both brands. I love the community that they've created, the branding that they've created, especially Patagonia. I love the branding that Yeti's created even more. I love how Patagonia runs their company. And I think both resonate with their audience and create long-term, buy-in and culture and community. But ultimately, big through line through both of their things are they're built to last. They make good products. And that, I think ultimately, like, we see so much shitty companies and brands pop up left and right, and a majority of them just have good marketing and shitty products, right? So these companies have good products and good marketing, which is a massive win. People notice the difference, and I'm somebody that's pretty detailed oriented consumer. So I see what they're doing and it resonates with me. And
what does Yeti different? I mean, they do like these insulation boxes. They do drinking cups and stuff like that. Basically, it's all products that are a commodity, right? What are they doing different that it stands out?
They've created just a culture within their audience that really resonates, and they build stuff that is just like everything I have of theirs is really durable, hardy, holds up, works really well. Whether it's backpacks that are waterproof with crazy teched out zippers so they can get completely submerged and no water will leak on your electronics, or you put your coffee in the thermos and you come back that evening and it's still hot. You're like, what the heck? But more importantly, the branding and the marketing that they've done, they've tapped into amazing subcultures, found the leaders of these subcultures, and empowered them and told amazing stories around them. And what I love is they're not like having them be like, check out the new Tundra 20 thing. They're just letting them live their life and filming them with the products incorporated in storytelling with them. So it's not so much of a call to action. Click the link in my bio to get this, drink, thermos. It's just seeing them on like a ATV drinking their hot coffee and then telling the story about what this guy's life is like as a rancher or a fisherman or a surfer or whatever it may be. And I think it's that storytelling piece and humanizing factor that resonates so heavily with their audience and with myself. But they're products I utilize a ton of. I'm a big outdoors enthusiast, so that's the stuff that resonates with me. And then I think, also you got to look at like companies that have been around for a while. Ford's a crazy example if you really think about it and you look at brands, like they've been around forever. And have never been bankrupt either. So really, really awesome to see like long-term companies that have weathered the storm for a very long time. I think those are always interesting to do deep dives in. And then,
what do you think is a way of building a brand or a company today that will outlast us, that will go on for 100 years?
Quality.
What? You think it's just quality?
I think it's a major part of it. Quality and community are the two things that come top of mind for me. I think there's so much shit that, like I mentioned just a couple moments ago, that it's flash. It's a flash in the frying pan in the sense of you can put amazing marketing around them, have some big celebrity put their face attached to it for a year or two, but eventually people are going to realize it's shit and it's not going to stick around, right? But the stuff that's built well and quality products, they tend to do well. Unfortunately, they're not the ones that typically have access to the best marketing. And then community, I think, is so important. In my opinion, I think having a hybrid of kind of all the best things in one, as far as there's modern day marketing. It's funny because we regurgitate things just like fashion styles and marketing styles and everything. And we got so invested in heavy on the digital front that we went away from in-person activations. But I think like the best thing you could be doing is having influencer, paid media across the brand stuff, doing paid posts with the influencer, promoting a in-person activation where you're actually now doing some guerrilla marketing in the streets or at a pop-up with that community, right? And it's all about just giving people in-person experiences, bringing people together, and making them feel a part of a tribe that they identify with, because that's what we're all looking for in life ultimately, is like, where do you feel like you found your people, right? And if as a brand you can be providing that, that's the ultimate brand loyalty. You know what I mean? Like if I were to go to like a Patagonia event, I guarantee you I find people that I would be friends with. Yeah. Right? So it's like, how do you be the through line for that and have it be more than a brand? It's like a culture that you're buying into, a subculture. Yeah.
I would say the majority of all the Fortune 500 brands have a hard time in tapping into that subculture, as they have so high restrictions and laws and compliances and all that stuff. What can they do? And again, they had the money, right? The money is not the budget, and it's not the budget is not the problem here. What can they do to be a real, authentic, and tap into a subculture without letting them drown in money and putting the logo big on it and just creating a whole shit show?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's got a couple things for that, but one, I always tell my clients, the cool brands don't need to pay to be cool. The uncool brands need to pay to be cool. And that's what we often find for a lot of these big companies. It's, I don't think there's a one size fits all answer, but there is, I think it's a case by case kind of analyzing it and doing something that's sincere for them. I would say, like, let's pick one. Let's pick a brand. Let's talk about it.
Let's take Nike, Adidas, one of these?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And okay, let's say Nike, and Nike does a lot of the stuff that we're talking about. They're just so big that it might be hard to measure a lot of it, because I actually am working across a couple things that they're doing, and they do a pretty good job. But so your question again is, how can they, do this kind of like meet up in person, get more in touch with. I think it's really about giving back and providing opportunity to the masses through cool things. So, like it would look like, maybe Nike doing a shoe drop, right? And everybody the first 500 people that buy it get tickets to this event, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a free event, and all they have to do is show up, or they can transfer their tickets, right? So now you have this private event that's just for the top consumers of Nike, and maybe there's a concert there, food, and then there's also selling clothing there that's unique to the event. That stuff starts to bring the community together, gives back, and it's just, how can you touch as many people with a cool activation and really have your dollars get spread wide. So that's where my mind goes. And honestly, that comes from I pulled a page out of Dark Sports book, and they're an amazing clothing brand. They're primarily in gym apparel. Now they're in surfing and MMA. They have such an amazing relationship with their audience, and a cult following at that. And they recently did a give back concert at the LA Coliseum, and they let all their fans go for free. It was insane. And I forget, I think Cascade headline, and there was a bunch of other people performing, but
EDM artists.
Yeah, it was pretty insane. It was like high level, and to see the culture and the community they built in person. Like, it's one thing to see the brands. It's one thing to see the brand's work and productions and content. It's another thing to see the brand's fans in one condensed area, and that's really powerful and really cool. So yeah, more of that. I think it's possible. I just think a lot of these Fortune 500 brands overcomplicate it. But yeah, I mean, people are craving community, interactions in the day and age of post-COVID. We're more remote than ever, and people are looking for entry points. So leaning into that.
I believe it's a lot about conversation. It's a lot about conversation and not just the voice, right? Usually the big brands is just a voice, and we want you to do this, we want you to buy that. And I think an amazing example in the Venice community is Venice Run Club, what they do with On Running. Venice Run Club, the most popular run club in Los Angeles, I'd say, like 500 people coming every single time.
Oh, I know. They run by my house twice a week. Trust me, I can't even get in and out of my driveway when they move to run past.
Actually, I got ahead right after our podcast, right over there. So,
oh my gosh, yeah.
It's been around for 4 years, founded by Justin Shields, great guy, and they partnered up with On Running. But they do it in a very subtle way, right? So On Running, they could have gone there and we put the logo big on here and there and there and there, and everything's sponsored there. It's kind of like if you break it down to a video or a recap video, it's like, On Running presents this, and make the logo in here, there. They don't do that. They are very subtle, and the only thing they're doing is, during the run or before the run, they do a raffle. Like, you get a shoe for free if you sign up for a newsletter or so. That's it. But there's no big booth, no big logo. And they have a community space. And I think this is what every major brand should do. Have a community manager. Also a great guy. Shout out Adam Klein. He's on Abbott Kinney. And they have the On Run store. And they have cold plunges in the back. So every Saturday after the run, people can go there for free and do their cold plunges. And nobody talks you into to buy these shoes or this or that. If you want, you can try them. If not, they don't care. You can just go there, hang out, grab a coffee and they just are giving genuine support to the community. And I think that's so amazing, and it's pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
You don't need that much budget. You need to hire a good community manager. You need to have maybe a space, even not that, and then ask your target group or your subculture, what do you guys need? Where do you guys need support, right? And then they help that.
100%. And that's what it's all about. It's like, instead of just trying to see people as monetizing them and just buy this from us because we're cool, it's taking a step back and being like, what do you guys need to be living your best life, and how can we help amplify that? And if a brand can do that while being cool and make you look good and feel good, it's like they're going to be around for a long time.
Yeah. I have two more questions for you. And one is, we always have like high goals up here. And last year we had the first million revenue with the US business.
Congrats.
And thank you. Want to double this year to go to $2 million. If you would be in my position, new in the city, a little bit of network, a lot of energy and a lot of hustle, what would you do to achieve that?
I would create a referral program with some of the most strategic people within your network that maybe were at agencies or whatever that maybe dictate where budgets are going, and find a way to incentivize them funneling business to you. People love getting paid, and nothing motivates people more than kickbacks. So that's one thing that is very, like, sincerely, you'll be surprised. Watch, do it. Find somebody that you've been poking for business forever, and then all of a sudden give them a referral, deal, and watch it change overnight, the relationship. You're like, holy shit, this guy just sent me a bunch of business. So I think that's super important. And then also, same with the referral. Don't be afraid to ask people, like, hey, it was a pleasure working with you. If you know anybody else that's looking for business in this lane, like, we're looking to bring on more clients. Nobody's a mind reader here, right? So you got to tell people they're all
ask for what you want.
Yeah, they're all super busy. So they're not going to be thinking about your needs and stuff. So and don't be afraid to follow up. It's all about the follow up. I would say that's probably the most important thing that I would say that applies to my team. If we're trying to get more revenue in the door, I'm on my team about their follow up game. The follow-up game is so important. I can't tell you how many things we've gotten because we've followed up at least 3 times, and on the 3rd time we get a response and we get engaged. And had we not followed up off the first time we knocked on the door, or the second time, it would have gone nowhere. But because we were persistent in checking back in, and it goes back to my point, everyone's busy, no one's thinking about you, and half the time people can't even get to what they need to for themselves, let alone for you. So you just have to shamelessly and politely and humbly keep checking in. And there's an art to it. It's like, hey, I don't want to bother you, just wanted to check back in and see if now's a good time to explore potential referrals. No big deal. Happy to check back in 4 to 6 months if that's better for you. And just, going down the list. And
like being easy and don't enerve people also.
Mm-hmm,
yeah,
exactly.
I found a good thing the other day, and it's basically, if you do a follow-up, always bring in a new perspective. Mm-hmm. So let's say I was following up with that oil company we were working with, and I could send them like, hey, did anything change? Do you want to go with that project? But I rather send them like, hey, I saw you guys had a great sponsoring on this and that event. I was just in Vegas and I saw them doing this and that. Like, have you seen that? That's cool, really cool. I thought about you. I care about you. Just want to do a follow-up, right? Like, bring in a new perspective, add some value to that, and then people are like way more likely to respond, right?
100%. And I try to do that all the time, everywhere, in the sense of I have people that I don't even need anything from, but I'll just hit them up and give them I saw your product here and I was in the room and I heard this said about it. You guys should incorporate X, Y, and Z, right? And it's the same thing like, hey, it was, any value add you can have, whether you're gunning for their business, you already have it, or, it's a thing of the past. I think it's just good to share those thoughts. They come into your mind and they, it takes energy to produce and years of education to come to that moment's conclusion, right? To have that ability to have that thought. It's a gift to be able to share it with so many of these people. And you should feel so fortunate that you have the ability to do so.
Yeah. Who do you admire? Who inspires you?
I'm so inspired by Dave McCoy, the founder of Mammoth Mountain.
Okay.
And it's random.
Mammoth Mountain, is that the ski resort?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's random, but it's not. And it kind of goes full circle with our conversation today. The thing that we were talking about, the trend for this year and just past couple and just where things are going is more community, more in-person activations, and I don't think it's going to go anywhere ever, right? It's just it's cycles, and I say Dave McCoy because he founded Mammoth Mountain. He made something out of nothing. Like literally, there was nothing. It wasn't what it was now.
It was all woods, right?
Yeah, it was just woods, and
now it's the hottest ski resort on the West Coast.
Yeah, and he created a sense of community. He built the resort. He created a place for people to have culture and, metaphorically speaking, a run club, but a ski club back in the day, which then developed into a resort. And I think it's the ultimate win. And the guy lived to like 104, right? So he died doing what he loved. He had a great long life. He created something out of nothing. He built community from scratch. He's still honored to this day. The town loves him. There's statues everywhere. And he's done just so much good for the community. He cared so much about it. And for me, I think regardless of the lane that you're in, that's the ultimate win, is to be able to create something that the masses can enjoy for years to come because of your vision. And it's healthy and it's, adds to the economy on a local level. I love all those things. So yeah, he's somebody I look up to in a big way. And if you ever get the opportunity to watch the film, it's called Mammoth Dreams. It's on YouTube. I absolutely love it. It's an old school style film. It's very old, a lot of black and white stuff, but I absolutely love it. And it inspires me so much. It's what it means to just make something out of nothing and just doing it out of passion and love. And, with so many of the people I work with, they're really successful, but they didn't set out to be successful. And neither did Dave McCoy. And they all just set out doing something that they love to do. They're like, yeah, I just recorded my movie reviews because I love movies. I didn't think I was going to have 3 million followers one day and be flown around the world to do this. So, it's just coming from a genuine place, and, the universe recognizes it. So if you lean into life in a genuine manner and just show up, work hard, and you're passionate, everything will fall into place.
That's amazing. Yeah. Great ending. Ben Cohen, ladies and gentlemen, founder of 28th Ave. Check him out. Amazing guy. And
thanks for having me on.
There was New Trend Society. See you guys next week, man.
Thanks.
Take care.